Okay, so you guys have left. I think you can still see my screen here. Let me just share it again. So next week's test is going to be about sustainability issues. Last week we talked about business ethics, labor, sustainability, a few other production processes, and I gave you these vocabulary words. They're still quite useful. Now, next week is going to revolve around similar topic, clothing brands, but it's going to focus mostly on the sustainability issues. Unfortunately, I don't have something about sustainability in front of me because every test is a different topic, so they cannot be memorized and repeated and even sold on study drive. So I have to use one that's about customer dissatisfaction, but I'm still going to try to use all of the vocabulary that I've given you, all the verbs that I've given you, and all of like facilitate, mitigate, all those things. Going to give you the structure again. And I'm going to try to use these vocabulary words here, even though they're more focused on sustainability, they can probably fit in any business scenario. So let me share the test. Here is a test from 2020, the winter semester of 2021 to 2022. This is exactly what your test is going to look like. A couple of pages, except it's going to be about a clothing brand and sustainability. Okay, you're going to have to write it by hand, but let's write it together on Microsoft Word. I'm not going to have a video camera or a smartphone over my hand. So first off, what I would do is make your section so you don't forget them. Students tend to forget them. I know conclusion is last. Usually, and if you're writing an essay, a conclusion is last, but a conclusion is more like, was hältst du davon? Like, what is the main takeaway that you have? What did you get from that? Right? And then the recommendations is what you do about the conclusions, what you say about the conclusions. Right? So let's do this for clarity. This report aims to shed light on the market situation currently facing Ryanair. Let me give a little bit background. Ryanair is a budget airline that operates throughout Europe and is headquartered in Ireland. This report seeks or looks to, I don't remember exactly what I said to you. Hold on, I don't want to give you bad information and start doing it like improvisieren. And then I tell you some new things, and then you're like, oh my God, Andrew, you told us some other stuff first. Yeah, so here's the original. I don't know why I didn't use this first. Okay, so Ryanair is a company involved in the budget airline industry. I can't tell you which one is best in which situation, field, industry, or sector. I would say industry is used for heavy machinery. Field is used for engineering, medicine, research. Let's say research. Industry is used for heavy machinery, and sector is used for anything financial. I would say for fashion is an industry. That's a word that sticks together. Those are words that match. Fashion industry. So you're going to deal with clothing, so you can use the word industry. Its primary areas of business include operating flights, operating budget flights throughout Europe. I don't think I can say anything more about Ryanair. It's not like it's not like they make computer software or something like, maybe they do, but it's not really what's important here. So uh it's okay to have just this one piece of information here. The purpose of this report is to shed some light on the current market situation facing Ryanair, specifically a recent rash of customer complaints. Now, rash is an Ausschlag, like if your skin is itchy, but you can also use rash to describe things that are not good. A group of things that are not good: customer complaints, firings, layoffs, and which is Entlassungen. So anything bad, you can use rash to quantify it. This report includes a findings and conclusion section and will also make recommendations for the future of Ryanair. The information for this report was gathered by, here we need to look at what it says. Whoops, I don't want you seeing all my chats. You work for a management consulting firm. One of your clients is Ryanair, so please read these directions clearly. It doesn't say who I am. It doesn't say that a specific person gave me this information, so I'll just say this report was gathered by, I think this is the best thing you can say if you aren't given a name, internal consultants during an external investigation. So that means employees for your Beratungsfirma by doing an investigation for Ryanair. Additionally, I'm just adding this. This report was compiled for use by, who's the guy we have to say? CEO Michael O'Leary. CEO Michael O'Leary. You know what I'll add here about Ryanair industry and headquartered in Ireland, just to give a little more background. Okay, perfect introduction. I didn't have to change much, just memorize the phrases that I gave you. We have identified the following as crucial concerning the current situation. Just remember that. I know that might be annoying. Crucial concerning the current, that's a lot of C's. You can change the words if you feel comfortable as you wish, but I think that's a good one. Look at the directions. It says a SWOT analysis. I have never required a SWOT analysis for you. It's not super important, but you can if you would like. And then it says at least 2 concrete steps Ryanair should take. So you need at least 2 recommendations. Make sure it tells you make sure you pay attention to how many concrete steps it tells you to take. Okay? And you need a conclusion. 300 to 400 words. Ryanair is the leading airline group by passenger numbers in Europe. That's a good finding. Ryanair is the most popular airline referring to passenger numbers in Europe. So that's one finding. It's an important one, right? It shows that it's very popular. The company employs a low-cost, no-frills model. So I can say because it operates as an affordable carrier. 2020, the most recent pre-pandemic fiscal year, the company carried 140 utilizing a fleet of 467. You can include things like this. One in parentheses, 149 million passengers. Across 1,800 routes. Please make a comma between numbers, not a punct here. Right? This is a comma. Utilizing how many aircrafts was that? 467 aircrafts. It's good to have some specifics, you know, to flesh out your sentences a little bit more. But that's all the information I need from part 1. Done. Ryanair, no, source 2. Ryanair will pull its share listing from the London Stock Exchange in the next 6 months because of Brexit, as the airline made a quarterly profit for the first time since 2019. It reported on Monday an after-tax loss of 48 million for April to September, broadly in line with expectations, pointing to a second quarter profit of 225 million. Despite its positive results since the onset of COVID, Ryanair said it expected an annual loss of 200 million given the extent of discounting fares. So you know what I would do if I was you guys? I would take this whole section here and right next to it on the test, one sentence that summarizes the main idea of this whole paragraph, or at least 3 paragraphs. Do you know what I think the main idea is? Trots. So despite making significant profits, Ryanair expects a significant loss because of discounted fares. So I would say something like that. Despite making significant profits, 200, well, and then I'll put them in parentheses, 225 million euros, and hold on, I'm just reading this more carefully. Okay. 225 million after a 273 million euro loss due to COVID. Ryanair projects to see further losses. Further is good instead of more. Further losses of approximately, what was it, 200 million euros. And I'm only writing everything out so you can flesh out your word count. Losses of approximately due to discounted fares. Okay, that's how I would summarize all of source 2. Okay. Oh, here's more. It operated more flights this summer than its European rivals. Traffic grew. So let's maybe add another finding. It outperforms its rivals. And let's see. And passengers grew by 11.3 million. Short and sweet. I don't need to mention every detail. You see, I'm not saying Ryanair carried 39.1, and then it did this, and then that did that. I didn't need to mention everything, but let's see here. Its chief executive, Michael Leary, said planes had been full to the gills with family in October, boosted by COVID passes smoothing intra-EU travel. Okay, basically what I got out of that is Ryanair is very, or instead of very, rather popular among families, as opposed to, let's say, solo travelers. Ryanair has now nudged up its passenger target for its financial year ending in March 22 to just over 100 million. The airline says it expects. Okay, most important thing there is the airline expects to return to pre-COVID profitability in the next few years, despite projected financial losses. Just seeing if I can use any of the vocabulary I've given you so far. I don't think so yet. I can't say. Let's see. Can I use exploitation, facade, ethical, transparency, accountability? None of these I can really use yet. I'm sorry. Like I just had this last remaining test. Okay, Ryanair is a good stock investment. No. Saying Ryanair has a quality of 33, which is weak. So we can just say that Ryanair owns a stock quality score of 33, comma, which is regarded as weak. Let's look at this graph. A lot of fluctuation. So official close, this is what, the year? I feel bad for you guys. I don't know who chose this graph. This one is not the most, this is not the easiest one for me to read. I don't know if this is talking about passenger numbers. Oh no, it's stock chart. I see that stock chart up here. USD 1990 50. Okay, 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 okay. So we can see, we'll say this through, what's the year? We have to pay attention. Remember, if it's in the Vergangenheit, it's over. So this is over 2021. Throughout 2021, Ryanair's stock value fluctuated dramatically. That's all you really need, right? Just a little bit of graph language. If you want, you could say with February and December being the worst, so we can say its value plummeted in February 2021, February and December 2021, just to add a little more graph language. But you don't have to describe the whole graph unless you're in trouble with words. Okay, let's look at best and worst airlines. Even prior to the pandemic, Ryanair sat at the bottom of our table. Customers were unimpressed, but willing to forego frills for rock bottom prices. But after 2 years of appalling customer service, appalling means very bad, forego means to aufgeben oder überlassen. I don't know in this context. When we asked people, is there an airline you would never fly with again? 3/4 of them named Ryanair. First, the airline made it hard to get refunds, 40%. Blah 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 blah. There are systemic problems. So that's a word we can use. Systemic problems exist throughout Ryanair's customer service. Customer service is an uncountable noun. You don't put the before customer service. You don't put a before customer service. So you don't have to say it was a bad customer service, right? These problems include I don't think we have it here. Or so we can't say what the problems are yet. So we'll say customers have said they would never fly with Ryanair again. There's a number in here somewhere. First, the airline made it hard to get refunds. 40% of you told us it took more than a month. Okay. This is due to the convoluted, that is another one of our vocabulary words from last week. Convoluted means extremely complex and difficult. This is due to the convoluted refund process. Great. Or you know what? There could be more, so I'll say this is partly due to the convoluted refund process, because we could have another reason here. Okay? Source 6, Ryanair, this looks like a lot of information here. Ryanair has been rated as the worst airline for the 6th consecutive year by which? With the consumer group claiming the Dublin-based carrier is still catching out passengers with hidden costs. So can I use, pervasive is one of our words. Spreading widely throughout an area. Pervasive means spreading, so like I don't know if it's ausbreiten, I think. Auszubreiten. But pervasive is a Schreibwort. It describes something, so we can say customers have complained about pervasive issues concerning hidden fees. Okay? Hidden costs in the annual survey of short-hair passengers gave the airline the lowest possible score for boarding, seat comfort, food and drink, and cabin environment. So we can also, let's use another word like deplorable. Deplorable means deserving strong criticism, shockingly bad in quality. Customers have additionally complained. As you can see, guys, I'm writing have complained, have additionally complained, have said. That's because I don't have an exact time when they said this. Okay, it could be 2021, 2020. 2019, but irgendwann in der Vergangenheit, you use what we call the present perfect, the have or has plus the third form. If you don't, I won't hammer you for this, but it'll definitely look better for you. So customers have additionally complained about a deplorable cabin environment, uncomfortable seating. What else we got? Food. Poor food and drink. Poor is always better than bad. And I said uncomfortable seating, right, guys? I mean, you're not there, so you can't tell me. And we can say terrible boarding procedures. Let's just read this here in case there's more information. According to which, Ryanair, which carries more passengers than any other airline in Europe, is also now the airline most consumers to fly. It's like repeating a lot of the things. What you can do here, I'm short on time. So what you can do here is you can put in parentheses 70%, or you can add the percentages just to be secure with having enough details. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, so you can put like things like 70%, 28%. But let's just read. You know what you guys should do as well? Anytime you see a percentage, highlight it because it's probably some important information. And you don't always have to mention the exact percent or cost or whatever, but there's usually going to be important information there. So let's see here. While Ryanair argues that repeated tweaks is a word for changes, little changes, to its baggage rules have made traveling cheaper for many. The charges for assigned seating and cabin luggage can push their fares higher than those of their rivals. The airline made 20% of its total revenue. Okay, maybe I'll include that. That's a finding. Let's get rid of this. The airline made 28% of its total revenue on ancillary features. Ancillary means like things that are not the Haupt feature, not the main focus. Like this is we can say things like this, like upgrades, baggage fees, etc. Like those little extras. Man, I feel bad for you guys. I haven't taken this test in a long time, and it's annoying. Assigned seating on the airline can cost up to while the wheeled cabin cost. Charges for putting a small suitcase have been reduced, but the cost of checking in a suitcase 20 grams can more than double many advertised fares. So we can say suitcase and baggage fees comprise significant revenue and can make a fare double than what it is advertised. Look, there's more stuff, but this one is and this one is really important, and this is where we can use some ethical stuff, right? So figures released by Ryanair have shown that median hourly pay for female staff is 71% lower, almost 72% lower than male employees. So let's just add that. Internal issues include a gender pay gap in which female employees receive 71.8% less than male peers. See if there's any more. Figures have even outstripped EasyJet. We can just add here. Additionally, this figure is worse than any of Ryanair's competitors. Okay, we have a lot of findings. I hope you get what I mean here. Like, you don't need to include every piece of information. This is a lot of findings, right? But they're short 1-sentence thing. just include some facts and figures here, include some numbers, right? I have some numbers here, I have some numbers down here, but not everything has to have a numbers. Like these two here doesn't have a number. So let's go to the conclusion. I said have at least 4, but that's only because I want you to be creative and I want you to be able to think in case one is shitty, one sucks. In light of the above findings, Company X, Ryanair, is facing issues with, I would say the main issues are profitability. Actually, no, that's not a main issue. I would say customer dissatisfaction, gender inequality, and we could say unstable profitability. That's the last one, so it's the least important. Considering the aforementioned findings, Company X, so again, just Ryanair, needs to take a variety of measures to combat these problems, such as, okay, so first is customer dissatisfaction, offering, or let's say, engaging in a new campaign to reassure, or let's use assure. Remember, assure is making promises to assure customers they will receive better service. Now we can use ensure. Ensure the gender pay gap is ameliorated and not exacerbated. Ameliorated is improved, made better, and exacerbated is made worse. And take measures to ensure future profitability. Okay, let's get rid of this. That's a good conclusion. You see, it's not that hard. Throw in the words that I've given you. I've really tried to drill these words in your head throughout the entire semester instead of making every lesson about getting new and new words. Because, guys, the words that I'm giving you here, are real good business English words, and I don't want you to forget them. I want you to take them on to Wirtschaftssprache 2 and on with your life. Recommendations. So it would be prudent to, so what would we do? Facilitate better customer service by by creating a new ad campaign. Actually, how about this? By hiring internal consultants to evaluate the, hold on just a second, I'm sorry. I need some time to think about this. I have no preparation here. At least you guys will have some time to think about it. Facilitate better customer service by by hiring internal consultants to evaluate the primary issues and determine which new offers can be made. However, it is clear that customers do not like the hidden fees and the discomfort experienced during flights. Okay, so it is clear that customers do not like hidden fees. Let's see if I can give you a piece of vocabulary. So facilitate. Perhaps Ryanair could synthesize low-cost flights with better comfort during non-peak seasons. During the peak season, Ryanair could be more transparent with its costs and fees. Let me see if I can say anything else. Mitigate customer dissatisfaction. I mean, Ryanair didn't do this. They doubled down on this and they're worse than ever with cabin stuff and it's horrible. But mitigate customer satisfaction by allowing 20 kg luggage, or sorry, by allowing passengers to bring one piece of 20 kg luggage for free during long haul flights and larger baggage in the cabin as carry-on during short haul flights. Now, this is the opposite of what these airlines have done. They've made it you can barely bring like a backpack these days, but I'm just saying this. Last, we want to cover the gender and the profitability thing. So formulate a plan how to deal with the gender pay gap issue. This includes doing an audit of the company and laying off or redundant employees, thereby allowing more financial freedom to pay female employees. I'm just making this up, but it is an idea. It means entlassen people who are low performers or not really important, and paying women more money. We could even say this. It would be prudent to envision a 5-year plan in which more women are hired and paid more ethically. This can be done with a new ad campaign and can be created by external consultants. The last one, allocate more funds to areas. Oh, look, guys, I don't have the time here now to do this. I have to do something else for JKU. So I'm gonna leave this blank, but this will be come up with an idea for profitability. Okay, but overall, this is a really great report. We did everything that is required, and we have 579 words. That's okay. I don't mind if you have 579, don't have 1,000. But you see, you have plenty of words. And I tried to use the vocabulary I gave you so often. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload this to the Moodle, the recording, and then the report that I wrote. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.